The quantum sensors hummed with an unusual rhythm, catching Dr. Elena Rodriguez's attention. Her fingers danced across the holographic display, tracing the intricate patterns of energy signatures that seemed to defy everything she knew about physics. Orbital Research Station Horizon hung in the darkness of space, suspended near Kepler 452 bits, a planet that had long intrigued humanity's best minds. Elena had spent the last 3 years leading a research team dedicated to understanding the mysterious quantum anomalies surrounding the exoplanet. Dr. Rodriguez called out her assistant, "Dmitry Volkov, you're going to want to see this." The holographic display shifted, revealing a series of quantum fluctuations that looked less like random energy and more like a deliberate pattern. Elena leaned closer, her dark eyes narrowing with concentration. The patterns were too precise, too deliberate to be natural. "It's a communication network," she whispered, more to herself than to Dmitry. The station's chief of operations, Colonel James Hartley, approached her workstation. His weathered face reflected years of space exploration, and his cybernetic eye, a testament to humanity's technological advancements, scanned the data alongside Elena. "Explain," he commanded, his voice low and crisp. Elena pulled up a 3-dimensional representation of the quantum signals. "These aren't random energy emissions. They're structured. Look at the repetitive quantum entanglement patterns. It's like a language, but not one we've ever seen before." Dmitry worked alongside her, his fingers moving rapidly across additional holographic interfaces. "The complexity is beyond anything in our current quantum communication models. These signals suggest a level of technological sophistication that makes our most advanced systems look like primitive radio." Colonel Hartley's cybernetic eye flickered, running multiple analysis protocols simultaneously. "Can we decode it?" "Not yet," Elena responded, her excitement barely contained. "But we're close. These patterns suggest an information transfer method that doesn't just transmit data, it weaves information into the fundamental fabric of space-time itself." The station's environment suddenly felt charged with anticipation. Humanity had long suspected they weren't alone in the universe, but this was different. This was evidence of a communication system so advanced it challenged the very understanding of information and consciousness. As the team worked, Elena couldn't shake a growing sense of unease. These quantum signals weren't just a passive communication network. They felt alive, intelligent, and most importantly, they seemed to be waiting for something. "We're being watched," she muttered, catching Dmitry's attention. "What do you mean?" he asked, his Russian accent thickening with concern. Elena pointed to a series of quantum fluctuations that seemed to pulse in response to their research. "These signals, they're reactive. It's like they know we're trying to understand them." Colonel Hartley's cybernetic eye zoomed in on the data, processing the information at speeds no human brain could match. "Active quantum communication network," he said slowly. "This changes everything we know about potential extraterrestrial intelligence." The station's communication systems suddenly crackled with static. For a brief moment, a series of incomprehensible quantum frequencies flooded their systems, a response, perhaps, or a warning. Elena Rodriguez stood at the precipice of humanity's greatest discovery. Whatever was out there, whatever intelligence had created this quantum communication network, was about to change everything they understood about their place in the universe. The dance of quantum particles continued, a silent conversation between humanity's most advanced researchers and an intelligence beyond their current comprehension. The Horizon Research Station hung in space, a tiny beacon of human curiosity against the infinite darkness, waiting to unravel a cosmic mystery that had been millennia in the making. The asteroid belt had always been humanity's hidden sanctuary. Buried deep within a hollowed-out asteroid designated Fortress 7, the Earth Defense Coalition's most secretive base hummed with nervous energy. Captain Marcus Donovan studied the quantum transmission intercepted from Orbital Station Horizon. His fingers traced the encrypted data streams, revealing a complex pattern that both excited and terrified him. The quantum communication network they'd discovered was more than just a means of communication. It was a control system. "We're not the first to be washed," Marcus muttered to Dr. Imani O'Keefe, the Coalition's lead xenotechnology expert. Her holographic display flickered with intricate quantum algorithms, each line of code a potential weapon against an unseen opponent. "These signals," Imani explained, her voice calm despite the magnitude of their discovery. "They're not just monitoring. They're filtering, controlling the development of intelligent species across the galaxy." The command center was a marvel of human engineering. Repurposed mining equipment integrated with cutting-edge quantum computing created a network more adaptive than any traditional military system. Technicians moved between holographic displays, their fingers dancing across quantum encryption protocols that seemed to breathe with living intelligence. Marcus pulled up a galactic map. Dozens of civilizations were marked in various stages of development, each tagged with subtle quantum markers. "It's like a cosmic farm," he said grimly. "They're cultivating civilizations, pruning those that grow too quickly, eliminating those that show too much potential." Dr. O'Keefe nodded, her dark eyes reflecting a mix of scientific wonder and human defiance. "We've been lucky. Most species never realize they're being controlled. We're developing a counter-technology, a quantum disruption network that can break their surveillance." A young communications specialist, Raj Patel, interrupted their discussion. "Captain, we've got something. The quantum transmission from Horizon. It's more than just a message. It's a key." The room fell silent. Marcus approached the display, watching as Raj manipulated the quantum data. Complex geometric patterns emerged, shifting and transforming in ways that seemed to defy traditional understanding of information transfer. "It's a blueprint," Imani breathed, "not just of communication, but of consciousness itself." Marcus understood the implications immediately. This wasn't just about technological resistance. It was about understanding the fundamental nature of awareness, of existence. The mysterious entities controlling galactic development had made a critical mistake. They'd left behind a roadmap to their own control system. "Prepare the Ghost Weaver prototype," Marcus commanded. The room tensed. The Ghost Weaver was their most experimental project, a quantum communication device designed to not just intercept, but actively disrupt the alien control network. Dr. O'Keefe began final calibrations. "We've only got one shot at this. If we fail, they'll know we've discovered their system. They'll either isolate or eliminate us completely." The asteroid base seemed to hold its breath. Generations of human ingenuity, of stubborn resistance, of unwavering curiosity were concentrated in this moment. They weren't just fighting for humanity. They were fighting for the potential of every species trapped under this cosmic surveillance. Raj's fingers moved with precision, integrating the quantum key discovered by Elena Rodriguez's team with their Ghostweaver technology. Lines of code transformed. Quantum entanglement patterns shifted, creating something entirely new. "Transmission sequence initiated," Raj announced, his voice steady despite the weight of their mission. Marcus placed his hand on the activation console. This was more than a military operation. This was humanity's declaration of independence from an unseen cosmic controller. "Let's show them what happens when you underestimate human potential," he said. The Ghostweaver hummed to life, its quantum disruption field spreading across the communication network like a living wave of defiance. For the first time, humanity was no longer just a subject of observation. They were becoming active participants in a cosmic game of evolution and freedom. The resistance had begun. The experimental spacecraft, Pathfinder, drifted through the razor-thin margin between known space and the uncharted quantum void. Lieutenant Kira Nakamura gripped the navigation controls, her augmented neural interface pulsing with data streams that would have overwhelmed an unmodified human mind. "Quantum stability at 82%, announced her co-pilot, Gabriel Rodriguez. His fingers danced across a holographic interface that seemed to breathe with living information. "The disruption field is holding, but we're pushing our technological limits." Their mission was audacious, perhaps suicidal. The Pathfinder carried the most advanced quantum penetration technology humanity had ever developed. Their goal, to breach the cosmic surveillance network and create a pathway for other civilizations to break free. The ship's interior was a marvel of human engineering. Organic computational systems integrated seamlessly with advanced quantum processors, creating a living technology that responded to thought as much as to programmed commands. Outside the viewport, reality itself seemed to warp and shift, quantum probability fields bending around the ship's unique propulsion system. Detecting anomalous energy signatures, Gabriel warned. The ship's quantum sensors picked up something that defied traditional understanding. Patterns of intelligence that existed between moments of time, watching, waiting. Kira's neural implants processed the incoming data. "They know we're here," she said quietly, "but they can't predict exactly what we'll do." That was humanity's greatest weapon, unpredictability. The cosmic controllers had spent millennia guiding civilizations along predetermined paths, eliminating those that showed too much potential for independent thought. But humans were different. Humans didn't just adapt, they transformed. The ship entered a region of space where reality itself seemed to become fluid. Quantum entanglement created corridors of probability, each decision creating and collapsing entire universes of potential outcomes. The Pathfinder wasn't just traveling through space, it was navigating through the fundamental fabric of existence. "Quantum disruption sequence initiated," Gabriel announced. A wave of energy emerged from the ship, not as a traditional weapon, but as a complex information pattern designed to unravel the surveillance network's control mechanisms. Suddenly, the ship was surrounded by what could only be described as living information. Vast entities of pure consciousness materialized, not as physical beings, but as complex quantum constructs that existed simultaneously across multiple dimensions. UDEVIAT from DAE prescribed path, the entities communicated directly into their minds. AMESSAGE, HATTRANCNDED language. A38, they aid existed beyond traditional communication. Kira laughed. It was a sound of pure human defiance. "We don't have a prescribed path," she responded, her neural interface amplifying her thoughts into a quantum transmission. "We create our own." The Pathfinder's quantum drive began to pulse with a rhythm that was part mathematics, part music, part pure human innovation. They weren't just trying to break through the cosmic surveillance. They were rewriting the fundamental rules of how intelligence could exist. Gabriel's hands moved with impossible speed, integrating the quantum key discovered by the Horizon Research Station with their ship's systems. "Breakthrough sequence initiated," he called out. The ship seemed to fold through realities, existing in multiple states simultaneously. For a moment, Kira and Gabriel could see the vast network of cosmic control, civilizations guided, potential crushed, evolution carefully managed by entities that saw themselves as ultimate arbiters of development. "Not anymore," Kira whispered. The Pathfinder erupted with a quantum pulse that was more than just energy. It was a declaration. A message to every controlled civilization, a beacon of possibility that said, "Resistance is not just possible, it is inevitable." As the ship emerged on the other side of the quantum barrier, Kira and Gabriel knew they had changed everything. They hadn't just challenged the cosmic controllers, they had shown that humanity's greatest strength was its ability to reimagine the very nature of existence. The cosmic gambit had begun. The edge of known space was more than a physical boundary. It was a threshold of consciousness. Dr. Rafael Santos stood at the culmination of humanity's most audacious project, a transdimensional research facility that seemed to breathe with living technology. Quantum data from the Pathfinder's mission streamed through holographic interfaces, each pulse of information revealing layers of cosmic control that had remained hidden for millennia. Raphael understood now that what they were fighting wasn't just an external threat, but a fundamental limitation of consciousness itself. "We're ready," announced Dr. Valentina Orlov, the facility's quantum integration specialist. Her hands moved across interfaces that seemed to respond to thought as much as touch. Around them, the facility hummed with a technology that blurred the lines between machine, consciousness, and pure potential. The cosmic controllers had underestimated humanity's capacity for adaptation. Each attempt to suppress or control had only pushed human innovation further. The quantum key discovered by Elena Rodriguez, the resistance network developed by Marcus Donovan, the breakthrough mission of Kira Nakamura. They were all pieces of a larger puzzle. Raphael activated the final sequence. The facility wasn't just a research center. It was a quantum consciousness amplification device, designed to do what no civilization had ever achieved. They were going to communicate with the cosmic controllers on their own terms. Quantum entanglement matrix stabilizing, Valentina reported. The room filled with a light that wasn't light, a perception that existed beyond traditional sensory input. The entities that had controlled galactic development for millions of years materialized, not as physical beings, but as complex quantum constructs that existed across multiple dimensions simultaneously. The nature of cosmic order, they communicated. A message that transcended language, a threat that existed beyond traditional communication. Raphael smiled. "We don't need to comprehend," he responded, his consciousness expanding beyond his physical form. "We only need to challenge it." The facility erupted with a quantum pulse that was more than energy. It was pure potential. Centuries of human innovation, of stubborn resistance, of unbridled curiosity concentrated into a single moment of transformation. They weren't just breaking free from cosmic control. They were redefining the very nature of consciousness. The quantum pulse spread, touching every controlled civilization, every suppressed potential. It was a message, a key, a weapon of pure possibility. Generations of careful manipulation began to unravel as civilizations across the galaxy realized they had a choice. Valentina's voice cut through the quantum noise. "We're creating a new pathway," she said, "not just for humans, but for every species that's been controlled." The cosmic controllers recoiled. For the first time in millions of years, they faced something they couldn't predict, couldn't control. Humanity wasn't just resisting. They were evolving. As the quantum pulse reached its peak, Raphael understood the true nature of their achievement. This wasn't about defeating an external enemy. It was about expanding the very definition of what consciousness could be. "We choose our own path," Raphael whispered, his consciousness merging with the quantum matrix. The facility transformed, becoming something more than a research center, a beacon of possibility, a declaration of cosmic freedom. Humanity had done more than challenge the controllers. They had shown that evolution wasn't something that could be managed, controlled, or limited. It was a force of pure, unbridled potential. As the quantum pulse faded, leaving behind a fundamental transformation of galactic consciousness, one thing became clear: this was not an ending. It was a beginning.